Hi friends, welcome to my channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Caitlin and I like to do eyeshadow palette ranking and review videos. So if that's content that you're interested in, you should definitely subscribe. And for those of you that are not new here, my face is happy that you're seeing it again. And we are, as you can see by the title, reviewing the Gemini 2 palette. I actually did a look with this palette today. You can see that I still have some eyeshadow on the inner corner because I just wiped my makeup off to do a look for you all on video camera. Whatever. Anyways, so if you are interested in seeing me create a look with this palette, then you should definitely hit the thumbs up button and keep watching. Okay, I am severely underprepared. I need to prime my eyelids. I'm gonna use my Smashbox primer just because I feel like the Milk makeup one, I've been using it when I'm like not keeping my makeup on for that long, but I feel like it just doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't work for me. So we're gonna start with Smashbox Cosmetics 24-hour eyeshadow base. This is the eyeshadow primer I always use. If you have a preference for one, use what works for you, you know? I am wearing this wig that I literally just got on Amazon. I haven't done anything to fix it up. Like, I haven't thinned it out. I didn't cut the bangs. Like, this is just straight out the package. It might be a tinge on the shiny side, so maybe put some baby powder or dry shampoo or something in it. But I think this is one of my favorite wigs because it's like not super thick. I feel like it just looks more natural. I could probably pluck the part a little bit too, but anyways, I just wanted to slap it on. I didn't even glue it down, so you can probably see my hair coming through, but anyways, this was all just for video purposes. Okay, so the look I did this morning with this palette, I used Bella, Sweetheart, and I think Lovesick. I think I used those three, and then LX Queen. So yeah, that's what I did. I'm kind of a curious cat. I think I want to try and incorporate the greens and the pinky peach shades if possible. So what I want to do is I'm going to take the shade Ladylike, and this is a Morphe JS5 brush. It's just a fluffy blending brush. And I don't know if I said this already, but I'm going to go in with the shade Ladylike, which is like this like tan shade. I didn't use any shimmers in my look earlier. It was an all matte look. Well, I didn't use any shimmers from this palette earlier. It was an all matte look, and then I added my Bridgerton Pat McGrath highlight to the inner corner to make it shimmery. So yeah, so we're gonna test out the shimmers for the sake of the review. But honestly, these mattes are super pretty. I think I'm gonna also do maybe some comparison swatches with the 27 palette, because I feel like, or maybe I'll just whip out all my Melt palettes. I don't know. You'll find out here in a second, or not a second, but you know, like a few minutes. I'll pull out the ones that I think could be similar. And I did not buy the new, like, re-release with the new packaging of the OG Gemini palette. I already had the Gemini palette, so that felt like it would be like a waste for me, just because I still have that palette. So yeah. I do love the Gemini palette though. That's probably, is that my favorite Melt Cosmetics palette? Speaking of my favorite Melt Cosmetics palette, I had a thought. So I have about 16 eyeshadow palettes from Melt. And for those of you that have been around a while, you may remember my March Sadness series. You can probably hear my dog squeaking a toy in the background. But you may remember that I had the March Sadness series where I like did looks with palettes and I pinned them up against each other and had like a bracket, like March Madness, you know, all that. I had my palettes like go up against each other for like where I do a look on one eye with one and a look on the other eye with the other, and it took forever because I did new looks with the palettes as they matched up. My thought was instead I do one look with each palette. I give my official ranking on like my overall thoughts on the palettes in a video, in like a seating video, and then we can go through the bracket of like the look I did with each palette paired up and then see which look was my favorite to see if it matches up that way. I don't know, could that be fun? I'm not sure. Let me know your thoughts down below. I thought it'd be fun because I do like a Reels or TikTok of each individual look. None of you care about this, you're just like, put some makeup on, lady. That's all we're here for. Okay, so this is the Melt Cosmetics Mini Difuminadora. Oh, yeah, I'm not gonna even try that again. Let's see, that is the 808 brush, and it's like this little blending brush. I'm gonna go in with almond eyes, and I'm kind of curious how this green and peach are gonna blend together. Ooh, that is a lovely shade of green though. I like that a lot. Oh, that's pretty. I'm really happy with this already. It's not even like blended out. I love it. I don't care. Even if it doesn't blend, this is perfect. But I try to, like I want this channel to be like I do want to try new makeup, but I try to purposely in my ranking videos like go over palettes that I also like, older palettes that I use each month, and just to show what I continue to reach for in my collection, not just the new stuff. And so I want to try and find more ways to make content with stuff that I already have. One, because it's expensive to keep buying new stuff, and two, like I love my Melt eyeshadow palettes. I love, well, all the palettes in my collection, and I just feel like I don't get the time to use them because I'm constantly feeling like I have to try the new stuff. So anyways, that was my thought, but let me know in the comments if that's something you'd be interested in. I have 15 Melt eyeshadow palettes. I'm kind of counting on them releasing something for 420, but I don't know, they just released this, so maybe they're not doing a 420 launch this year. But if they don't, I have a friend that I think has the Smoke Sessions palette, so I'll just borrow that so then I could hit my 16, because I feels imperative that we have 16, you know. So it's not like a seamless blend because these colors aren't like next to each other on the color wheel, but I feel like it's a good enough blend that I'm not mad at it. We're gonna go in with Boy Mum on a Alter Ego number 7 brush. Should really deepen things up. Oh yeah, that is nice and smoky. Okay, and then I'm gonna go back in with almond eyes and that melt brush we were using a second ago. And I'm just gonna run over where we just put Boy Mum, just to kind of help blend that out a little bit. This is so pretty. I almost want to just grab like a really light matte, put that on the like rest of the lid and call it a day. This is such a pretty look, if I do say so myself. Then I'm going to go back in with Ladylike on that same Morphe brush and just go over the edges very lightly. Now what I want to do is use Mateo on the lid. So this is a Morphe M166 brush. I just wiped it off, but there's still some shimmers on it. I'm using MAC Fix Plus. Like I sprayed that on my brush. I'm gonna pick up Mateo, and I'm just going to put that shimmer like kinda, I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it, kind of on the center of the eyelid, like that. See, that's a very dark shimmer. That is the one critique I have for this palette and kind of most of my Melt palettes. I feel like they don't do light shimmers that often, but when they do light shimmers, I love them. Like in the Blueprint palette and in the She's and Parties palette, like those lighter colored shimmers are my favorite. But I feel like Melt always goes for like more of the dark, smoky shimmer, which is fun, but some of us want like bright shimmers, you know? All right, so then I'm gonna take, this is a large eyeshadow brush from Sonia Kashuk. I'm gonna go in with the shade Bella. And I'm going to, I mean, that kind of got a little out of control, so hold on. I think I brought Mateo over too far for what I was hoping to accomplish. It still is pretty. Yeah, I think I just brought Mateo a little too far over. I think I wanted more of Bella on the lid, but that's all right. So, I mean, you know what? Why not? I used LX Queen as my liner earlier, and it worked well, so I'm just going to do it again. Oh, this is a Sonia Kashuk. This is just a, oh, it says just a spoolie on one, oh, liner. It's a liner brush, which feels appropriate since that's what we were using it for. I will say that that shimmer of Melt's, the Mateo shimmer, I know I said that their shimmers are usually, or maybe I didn't say this, I thought it. Their shimmers are always a little dark for what I like, but I don't know that I said that their shimmers are sometimes hit or miss. It's not like it depends on what kind of shimmer you like. So this particular shimmer, Mateo, is very metallic. I tapped over it so you can't really see it, but there is like a shine that gives kind of a glossy appearance to the lid, but it's not very like sparkly reflective. It's not going to be that kind of shimmer, so just something to note. And all right, so that's basically the eye look. I think it'll come together once I do lashes and like my whole face. Like I said, I kind of wish I didn't bring the green over as far, but it is what it is. I already did it. So anyways, I'm going to finish up my base makeup, come back, I'll show you the lower lash line, and then I will do some comparisons. I'll kind of hold up the palette for like comparisons, and then I'll swatch some of the shades that are super similar. So be right back. Okay, so I did a little something off camera. I took the shade, well, obviously I did my base makeup, but I took the shade Schmood, which is the other shimmer, and I kind of tapped that over, and I feel like that helped the blend between Bella and Mateo, like just a little bit. But then I realized I probably should have filmed that, so now I'm going back in with Mateo, and I'm just tapping over that a little bit more because I really like this like peachy, or not Mateo, sorry, I'm tapping over Schmood with Bella. Schmood is blended into Mateo. Okay, I like that better. I think it helped blend that, and then also I still wish I put the green more to the side, but whatever, it's too late. So, oh, I did want to know, I'm using the Melt Cosmetics Cream Blush Light in Honey Thief, and that blush with the shade Bella, they match perfectly. Okay, so we're going to take that same liner brush in the shade LX Queen, and I'm just going to bring that down here and run that along the lower lash line. And then part of me just wants to blend that out with Bella. Okay, so I'm going to take that same Sonia Kashuk brush, and this was the one that I used with Bella, but I think I'm going to actually go with Ladylike because I feel like Bella is going to be a little too much. And Ladylike's very similar, but it's not quite as like bright peach. And I might still bring that green in. I haven't decided. Yeah, I probably will bring the green in. I think what I want to do is I'm going to use that Alter Ego 7 brush, but I'm going to go in with Almond Eyes instead of Boy Mum, which we used earlier with this brush. And I'm just going to bring some of that green in to the outside. You guys, first I was doing this eye look, you guys saw that, and then it cuts off and now you're talking to me. The reason it cut off is because my phone just stopped filming, But all I said was, oh, I'm gonna add lashes and lipstick and then I'm gonna come back. And so that's what I've done. But this is my second attempt at coming back. I came back the first time, did swatch comparisons of every single Melt eyeshadow palette that I have. That, for the most part, the ones that didn't have any shades that were similar, I skipped. But for the most part, there was at least a shade that was similar, enough to swatch. And so I did all these swatch comparisons. And then I went to review to make sure I got the footage and realized my camera was flipped the wrong way and it just filmed my blinds the whole time. So anyways, this is the final look. I'm really happy with it, I swear. I'm just annoyed at the filming situation, but I paired this with the Kaleidos Makeup Cloud Lab Lip Clay in the shade Dune. I feel like this paired really nicely with this eye look and palette in general, so if you have that lipstick, I think they're a good match. And yeah, super happy with how this look turned out. I think it's really pretty. I have used every shade in the Gemini 2 palette except for Gemella's, I think I said. So no issues with any of them. No patchiness. Everything blended fine. These are the good Melt shimmers. Like, they're not like exploding out of the pan, super crumbly. Like, they're creamy and pigmented, and then they do have a nice like metallic look on the eye. I'm not gonna re-swatch all of these, so I'm just gonna hold them up for you guys to tell you the ones that had any similarities. So the one that I thought would have the most similarities was actually the 27 palette, and I discovered that they are not that similar. They look like kind of similar because they're like tan blushy tones, but really they're these go a little bit more brown, whereas these go a little bit more pink in tone. So I didn't really feel like there was any duplicates, but obviously somewhat similar kind of vibes. The only shade in the Rust palette that was similar was Antique, and it's basically a more orange version of the shade Bella. Bella goes a little bit more pink. But yeah, that was kind of it. Yeah, so those were those. And then I said that from the OG Gemini to the new Gemini, there wasn't really any overlap in the greens. They're definitely different green tones. So if you have the OG Gemini, I don't think you'll be disappointed in Gemini 2. The Mary Jane palette, the shade Sweet Lucy, was similar to the shade Mateo. This one's a little bit more antique gold, whereas Mateo is a little bit more green. But Sweet Lucy is like crumbly texture, all fallout all over the place city, whereas Mateo is not like that. So if you had an issue with the shimmers in the Mary Jane palette, I think you'll like the Gemini 2 palette because they are not the same. This is the Muerte palette. Velorio and Sangre were the two similar-ish shades, but both were darker, just a little bit deeper than their counterpoints in the Gemini 2 palette. There wasn't really anything in the Vita palette that was similar, so that was that. And then the Millennial Pinks palette, I did swatch compare these, and obviously Millennial Pinks is kind of lighter across the board. Any of the shades that looked similar in pan, the Millennial Pinks was lighter. So I think these palettes would combine nicely, especially if you used like some of the lighter shimmers in this palette to pair with the Gemini 2 palette. She's in Parties. The She's in Party shade and Schmood were probably the two most similar shades that I swatched. Other than that, obviously this goes deep purple, and this one's more of like a berry, like a reddish berry. Roll It, so this is the 420 palette. Roll It and Boy Mum were similar. I'll kind of line them up so you can see. Those were similar, but really other than that, I don't think there was any other similarities in that palette. The collab palette, the Waiting Room with the Beetlejuice, No Exit and LX Queen were kind of similar, but No Exit was, I think, a bit lighter or a bit more red, but similar enough that if you put them on the eye, I think they'd look the same. And then Amori Mariposas and the Gemini 2 palette. The shade Maria and LX Queen were like the closest shades to each other, but ultimately, when swatched, you could definitely see a difference between them. So yeah, that was really fast, but I didn't want to swatch all of those again. So anyways, I think if you have a ton of Melt palettes like I have, I don't think you'll be upset bringing this palette in. There were some shades that were similar, but overall the color story is very different, and there are a lot of unique shades to the Melt collection. I cannot speak for the other palettes that you have, as you know, peachy, blushy, berry tones and greens are not, you know, like you probably have them in your collection, but I liked the palette overall. I thought all of the mattes worked well. I think this is their nice version of their shimmer formula. So, you know, I think you'd enjoy it, but you'll have to make that decision for yourself. Anyways, let me know down in the comments if you liked this video. I'm sorry that you didn't get to see swatches, but I just can't. And then also let me know if you picked up this palette, or if you didn't pick up this palette, you know, kind of what your feelings are, what the vibe is. And with that, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.